So oftentimes I find myself having to be very careful of what I say, even though I never have any malevolence in my discourses, as it were. When I'm talking about various subjects, sensitive and non sensitive, people take things the wrong way because we live in a world full of all kinds of people. And unfortunately, there are groups and pockets of individuals that are underserved. What I mean by that is underserved oftentimes by themselves, just limiting their own individual education. They choose to be who they are, not wanting to be better, not wanting to strive to add on to their foolishness that they've gathered over the years. All of the nonsense and all of the ideologies and things that people attach themselves to, belief systems as it were, these people won't question and or challenge the truth. They take it just for surface reasons. In other words, on the outside, you hear someone say something, you won't investigate it and find out if it's true. You won't fact check. You just simply go on with your ignorance. And when I say ignorance, I'm not necessarily saying that you are a stupid individual. I'm just saying you're someone who's not informed or not educated on a particular subject and or topic. So I say all that to say this. My brother, and he is my brother, martial arts brother, and I don't know him personally, Michael Jai White. I talked about him, and most of my conversation began when he said that he could have beat Bruce Lee, of course, about a year ago. And that brought sort of a storm of rebuts, as it were, attacks on him. And then he tried to go back and clean it up. And I responded to it. Beardy, who has a YouTube channel, he responded to it. A samurai individual, I forget the full channel name, but he's responded to it. And he's even had a conversation with Michael Jai White. But for some reason, Michael still seems to lean on this big is better than a smaller person mindset when it comes to fighting. And I've heard Michael in interviews before say that he was not a fighter. And here in more recent videos, he said that he was a fighter. Which one is it? I'm curious. Which one is it? Are you a fighter or not? Now, I don't subscribe to what people say in defense of him, and I'm in defense of anyone that's right, but I don't subscribe to people who say, well, he has a black belt in several martial arts. So do I. What's the point? That does not necessarily speak to your character. When you open your mouth, that's what speaks to your character. And especially when you open your mouth and then you follow with some actions that don't match what you're saying, if you're saying something positive. Now, he said a lot of things that I do agree with. Michael Jai White has, that is. But this thing about Seagal, how he's put him down, and how he's put Van Damme down as a fighter, body language says it all. What you speak says it all. Now, you can't go back and recant or change what you've said because it's been said. And it's out here on the airwaves, the waves, or whatever, and people see it. So just be very careful what you say when you're on a platform like this. I'm saying this to anyone. And so I'm saying this to say, I don't believe that Michael Jai White ever was apologetic as it related to him making a statement about him beating Bruce Lee. I believe he actually meant that. Now, he can go back and have several interviews thereafter and say, well, I made a mistake. I messed with people's idol. Hell is my idol too, is what he said. It's his idol too. Wouldn't have never done it. Not me. Never. I do possess some level of humility. And then you have to go and pose by Bruce Lee's gravesite and Brandon Lee's gravesite as if that really is going to mean anything. Even if he did the picture at the gravesite in Seattle before he made the statement about beating Bruce Lee, even if he did it before then, it was posted online several times. Is that supposed to make it right, what you said, that you could beat Bruce Lee? No big thing. I'm not defending Bruce Lee. I'm just simply saying you were saying that from the standpoint of Bruce Lee was a martial arts actor. Again, it sounds like Chuck Norris to me. Something he would say. Now, even though Chuck Norris never specifically said Bruce Lee was an actor, what I'm getting at is this. Chuck Norris always wanted to put himself, if you watch his videos and his interviews, on the level of Bruce Lee, and he was nowhere near that. And we should know that by now. I hope you do. Now, I love Chuck Norris as a martial artist. He's not the greatest martial artist. I'm not the greatest martial artist, so let me qualify that in case you want to jump in there, you trolls out there. But anyway, Michael Jai White is not the greatest martial artist either. Now, on record, on the books, no human being is the greatest martial artist. We don't ever know, we never will know. But in the world of martial arts, Bruce Lee is the most popular figure in the martial arts. 50 years after he's been gone now, he still is. So now, what's the basis of this whole general conversation, if you will? I don't believe that Michael Jai White is truly sorry for saying that he could beat Bruce Lee. I think he meant it, as I said before. And I love the man as a martial artist because he's good. He's very good. But what I don't like is the flipping and flopping kind of part. I would say this to him out of love and respect if I was talking to him right now. But I don't like the flipping and flopping. You're trying to keep repairing something that you've already said when it's really what you meant. I would say this to him as a friend if we were friends and knew each other intimately in that way. But sometimes celebrity gets to people. When you're in the spotlight, limelight, you star in movies, you tend to get beside yourself. You do. And when you're interviewed and you're on a larger platform where millions of people are potentially watching you, you've got to make it sound right. You have to make it sound good. So sometimes we inflate the truth. Like Chuck Norris saying he taught Bruce Lee high kicks. I don't buy that. For real? You taught Bruce Lee high kicks? I can believe that you demonstrated and showed him things that you did, but you didn't teach him anything. Chuck Norris was Bruce Lee's student. If the truth be told, just like he was Bob Wall's teacher, and even Bob Wall admitted that, and he was Joe Lewis's teacher, and Joe Lewis admitted that as well, and even gave Bruce Lee his proper credit. Never seen Chuck Norris do it. Give Bruce Lee his proper credit, that is. I've never seen Michael Jai White give Bruce Lee his proper credit. He's looking at him more as a movie star that knew martial arts. That's the way I see it. That's not my opinion. I know Michael is in his 50s now. I'm old school, and I'm a baby boomer, and I was doing this before Michael. And we are a different breed. We're the ones who set the pace for what people are doing today. Around the 60s and 70s, those were the guys. And I was coming up during that period when Bruce Lee was popular. These other guys are coming later. Not giving them any not just due. They're all due what's due to them. Michael, again, is a very good martial artist. I love most of his movies that I've seen, especially Blood and Bone. I think it's Never Back Down was another one that I recall back in the movies I've watched. But again, I believe that he inflates things. And before I go, I want to say this about the big versus smaller. And someone made this statement reply on one of my movies about the similar subject, if you will. If size doesn't matter, then why do they have different weight classes? Who created that? There's in boxing, for example, featherweight, lightweight, middleweight, heavyweight, super heavyweight, this kind of stuff in boxing. And even though you look at martial arts sporting events, if you will, or competitions, they have weight divisions in some of those arenas as well. But can you pick a person in the street that's your weight to make it even, to make it worthwhile in the street confrontation? You can't pick and choose who you fight, who you're protecting yourself against, can you? So can a small person beat a bigger person in the street? Can he? Or are we only going to say that big guy's going to win because he's big? It doesn't even make sense. You can't pick and choose who you're going to fight in the street. You just can't do it. So there's no weight class, right? It is what it is. So what determines whether or not that small person is going to defeat that heavier person or fall to that heavy person? It depends on that small person. That's what it depends on. Not simply the fact that that other guy is bigger. That's it. Give this some consideration. Do you really believe that there's a rule set in stone that all big men can beat all smaller men in a real fight? I'm not talking about sport events. But even in sporting events, if you want to think about it, should it really matter? Is it the size of the dog? Or is it the fight that's in the dog, no matter what the size of the dog is? Think about it. This teacher.